It's April 14th, 2022. I'm here. I asked a question this morning, I don't know, is it the family to task? Is it how do you take one to task? If task is American services, and if he works Tusk elsewhere as an elephant or a rhino, that gets confusing. I'm just thinking of this. And how did I get lost in the shuffle during this? Being 6 foot under and G under. And then I'm thinking when it popped into my mind when I went to Virginia, to Hampton Park, from Bayside, when I lived down there and Jason was trying to get a transfer to Richmond. I was down there alone. There was a thing about Pulte, Pulte, that was the builder. I believe that was the main builder in Hampton Park, or at least that was my builder. And again, I don't know them by corporation size or who they're, I don't know their product brands. I know nothing about them. It was just, I liked the style of the house. I picked out a lot. I liked the style of the house, the size of the house, the way the rooms laid out. There was a builder's meeting. I can't remember if Lou and Lynn came down or not. But we weren't the only ones in the design place. But again, I didn't know what to expect because I had never built a home like that before. Like in a development with and especially in Virginia. That was like moving to heaven as far as I was concerned. I had such high hopes and dreams for Virginia, and it was so beautiful when I was there. They have a saying in Virginia, Virginia's for lovers. Oh my gosh, was it ever. I was with my 2 little kids. I just love them so much, and I did not have to worry about anything because I was the only adult in the building, and Lou and Lynn weren't there. Oh, it was like heaven. I had nice neighbors. It was a good community. I felt safe. There were wild turkeys that walked in the backyard. There were trees. There was a park to go to that was with other children. It was like a feast for the eyes every time you walked out the door. It was a slice of heaven. And it was not extravagant or elaborate by any stretch of the imagination, but it was like an American dream to live there. I was so grateful. I was so sad when I had to leave. But something, I don't know if they call it an EXT, something important happened because I couldn't recall that memory. And I'm still having trouble in some redact. I don't know what it is, but I don't have real full recall of that meeting. I just know there was cabinet doors and different colors to choose from. They went over the flooring options. I really wanted hardwood floor. I didn't like the roll-out laminate floors. But it was like one of the most exciting things I had gotten to do. And it seems so trivial and so minor, but it was like the biggest thing I think I had ever done. So, at today I came on TRD, and I'm just thinking research and development that exists somewhere in the world. I don't know what the college kids and the kids who got to learn even how to participate in a PhD or a master's degree, something. I mean, I wasn't even taught that path. In a world where college seems to be everything for everybody on TV these days, but yet wasn't talked about, wasn't planned for, wasn't even, there was no guidance of, and then marriage was withheld. So I'm like, so marriage was withheld and no formal education was planned for. I have no route other than taking family to task or taking the one to task myself so I can get to where I need to be, but I don't know how to get to task. In like, there's tour de force. I heard that on the TV the other day. One of them let that out, and I'm like, and they explained what it is. It's like your reputation precedes you, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever it is. Some people live in the future and they already know your R&D before how your personality profile, your whole nine, I suppose you could say. So now that's where it's like, I don't understand where, I mean, I say miss the boat, but like, again, I don't know. There's some pre-programmed, like, ingrained things there in order, like, when there's nothing in the field to direct you, there's some, like, ingrained solid object programming. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just like, it's your core. You just know things. You don't know how you know them, but you just know them. Well, one of the things I know is this is not right, for sure. And I was planned for one thing, and I have been kept away from it, and I don't know why. But if with R&D does count, they would know, but I don't know who they are and what they call themselves. I showed earlier on I have it covered now with black and blue, but I have it covered. I call it a backwards facing R, but it would be like mirror image perhaps. And then an H in the middle with a U, with a rocking horse. Rock, paper, scissors. I'm still on a rocking horse. And rock is in the word rocking. Because a rocking horse doesn't gallop, it doesn't trot, it doesn't prance, it doesn't do anything. You sit on it. It's like a carousel horse. It just, I mean, well, it goes back and forth. Carousel horse goes up and down. When I brought Alexander home from the hospital, I had moved back from Virginia to New York, because I couldn't afford Virginia by myself, and there's no safety in America. There's no freedom. There's no safety in the sense of financial security and safety. There's been nothing built, nothing given, nothing offered, and nothing that I've been able to, whatever. So, choices were just, there were no choices. So, coming back, and I was living, we had bought a ranch. As a kid, I lived in a high ranch, which was the basement and the first floor were above ground. But in this one, the ranch had unearthed or dug out a subfloor, just one below the surface, and that's where the basement was. I think at one point they used to call them cellars when they used to be circular and out of brick, but That goes back to building in the 1800s. For architectural nuances. So, this basement room, there's something from something called a strategic management that Armstrong had put me in touch with from Princeton Properties. And I think he did ask me where I was because could I describe it, and I'm like, I'm in the basement. I mean, like, I didn't, like, that's the only word I had. But he says, I'm not from around your area. And I'm like, all right, well, it's a ranch. I said, do you know what that is in New York? I mean, again, it was 1,400 square foot box above ground. Looks kind of like a moving and shipping container, but made of wood and drywall. And that's the housing structure that they used in the area. And then but it wasn't on wheels, it wasn't mobile. It had a subfloor or one floor below, which was called the basement. But I guess as of today, when I said bodies in the base, meant, as in they meant to do something else. If they live on a base, which whatever lives on a base, I have no idea. And then there's the 6 foot under reference with G under, one being an opened apparatus, one being a closed apparatus, one having a special shape that's not a closed, enclosed circular structure for a special purpose. I mean, again, TRD should know that. And these are new symbols that just got thrown into my universal space with some kind of visual assurance with the year 2022 that somebody's using it for something, either Tundra or Toyota. I don't know, because I don't know the corporate stuff. Again, corpse and then bodies, and then where the body's buried in the corpse. Again, I don't have any corporate affiliations because I've tried twice to work for corporations, but they put me at the smallest level, and you can't, money mechanics wise, you can't even take care of yourself. And it really feels like planned obsolescence in some, I don't know, turnover. But I don't know where research and development exists in, like, if it's a family estate and the family dream was murdered and that's what they did, how do you even pursue justice on that line? And then what happens if somebody paints you out of where you need to be? I mean, how do you just find the person that you belong with? That's the real question. Is there like a lost souls department in spiritual, like someone's nice somewhere in the world? That's where that Zodiac Boat comes from, because I think the U.S. Coast Guard uses it. And I met someone that had a boat large enough. They were trying to use their rescue boat to get from where they were anchoring to Fire Island, I think. But his rescue boat had a hole in it. But he called it a Zodiac Boat. That I learned that from Collins. Collins taught me that. Andy. And he's over 6 foot in height. And I don't see him on a regular basis. I don't even have access to him. 1975 is the whatever gatekeeper will know, I suppose. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth. Solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxies broken, and Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.